Every parent wants to protect their child, to shield them from harm, from heartbreak, from the harsh realities of the world. For a mother, that instinct is arguably the strongest bond imaginable. Imagine dedicating your life to nurturing, guiding, and loving your daughter, only to discover she's allegedly been living a secret life of fear, control, and pain. A life hidden behind the dazzling lights of fame and power. This week, in the federal trial against Sean Diddy Combs, that protective instinct, that maternal love, has taken center stage. The courtroom has become the arena where a mother's heartbreak meets legal strategy. Cassie Ventura's own mother, Regina Ventura, has stepped onto the stand, her testimony promising to be some of the most emotionally charged and revealing yet. She's not just a witness, she's a parent, a confidant, and a keeper of painful truths. What would compel a mother to meticulously document her daughter's alleged injuries? What kind of pain would she see that would make her reach for a camera, not just a comforting embrace? Regina Ventura revealed a shocking moment from December 2011. Her daughter, Cassie, came home to their Connecticut house, bruised, beaten, and Cassie's alleged words to her mother were chilling, that she was beaten by Sean Combs. Regina Ventura took photos, she said, to memorialize it, to keep the evidence. This wasn't just a mother comforting her child. It was a mother, in that moment, acting as a silent, unwilling investigator. But this wasn't the first time Regina Ventura had concerns. Years before, she had stumbled upon a blind item, those anonymous gossip pieces, describing a celebrity being beaten in a car. No names were mentioned, but a mother's intuition is a powerful thing. She asked Cassie if it was about her. Cassie denied it, saying it wasn't about her or Diddy. How many times do parents hear these denials, hoping they're true, but feeling a knot in their stomach that whispers otherwise? What did Regina truly suspect back then? And why did Cassie feel compelled to hide the alleged truth? The trial also brought us back to the shocking testimony of male escort Sharay Hayes, who continued to describe his unusual encounters with Combs and Ventura at luxury hotels. Imagine being greeted at the door by a woman in a robe wearing a wig, a woman you don't even recognize at first. Hayes testified that Cassie Ventura invited him in, explaining that she and her husband, later revealed to be Diddy, liked to create a sexy scene involving baby oil. The instructions were specific, almost clinical. Ignore the husband. Don't acknowledge him. No eye contact. No communication. Just perform. Hayes was handed a thick stack of cash, $800 to start. He then became part of a performance, following Ventura's lead, mimicking her actions, applying baby oil. And then Diddy would enter. Not joining, but observing. Giving subtle directions, Hayes testified, adjusting the lighting, instructing Ventura on her body's position. What kind of power allows one person to choreograph such intimate moments, dictating every angle and movement? What was the true dynamic in those rooms, masked by the allure of money and luxury? Hayes initially didn't even realize the man was Diddy. It wasn't until another encounter, seeing the Essex house would like to welcome Mr. Sean Combs on a hotel TV screen, that the pieces clicked. He recognized Ventura from photos with Combs. Hayes would go on to participate in these interactions 8 to 12 times, often meeting them at odd hours in various New York City hotels, sometimes staying for hours. What kind of arrangement could lead to such frequent, late-night, and controlled encounters? Hayes understood his role, to create a sexy scene that could escalate to a more sexual scene. Combs was always present, always watching from a distance, always directing. 4-hour sessions that ended with Diddy leaving, followed by Ventura and Hayes being paid anywhere from $1,200 to $2,000. And then, there was the moment during sex with Ventura when Combs allegedly threw cash down on the bed. What was the meaning behind that gesture? Was it a power move, a sign of ownership, or something else entirely? Hayes observed Ventura often looking in Combs's direction during these encounters. He also noticed sometimes a sigh, a wince that seemed to be frustration at the frequency of Combs's directions. Yet, he never heard her refuse one of Combs' instructions. What does that silence truly represent? Was it compliance or something far more sinister, a lack of choice in a situation where refusal simply wasn't an option? Hayes also testified about the immense pressure he felt during these sexual scenarios with a woman's partner present. He even resorted to taking medications to try and improve his performance. He never saw Combs take drugs, and Combs never appeared intoxicated. Hayes's last session was in 2016, and he testified he failed to perform and was never called back. What kind of pressure would lead to such extreme measures for a professional, and what did Ventura say to him as he left that final time, thanking him for being private and respecting their privacy? The testimony of Regina Ventura and Sharay Hayes paints an increasingly vivid and deeply disturbing picture of the alleged control and exploitation at the heart of this trial. It's a story not just of celebrity, but of power, vulnerability, and the desperate search for justice. Welcome back to C-Trends. The latest witnesses have pulled back another layer of secrecy surrounding Sean Diddy Combs. But how will the defense attempt to discredit these highly personal and emotional accounts? And what other shocking details will emerge from the ongoing testimony that connects these narratives of alleged abuse and control? The jury has returned, and court proceedings are back in full swing. Prosecutors have now called Regina Ventura, Cassie Ventura's own mother, to the stand. Her testimony is expected to be incredibly powerful, offering a deeply personal perspective on the alleged events surrounding her daughter and Sean Diddy Combs. One of the most heartbreaking moments came as the jury was shown photos of Cassie Ventura that her mother took in December 2011. These weren't casual snapshots. They were evidence. Regina Ventura testified that she took these pictures in her Connecticut home after her daughter was allegedly physically assaulted by Sean Combs. Her reason was clear. She was bruised, and I wanted to make sure that we memorialized it. This powerful imagery, which was first shown during Cassie Ventura's own testimony, paints a stark picture of alleged violence and a mother's desperate need to preserve the truth. Regina Ventura shared that December 2011 was the first time Cassie directly told her about Combs being physical with her. But this wasn't the very first time a shadow of suspicion had crossed Regina's mind. She recalled reading a blind item, those anonymous gossip pieces, about a celebrity getting beaten in a car. While no names were mentioned, the details must have resonated. She asked Cassie if it was about her, but Cassie, at the time, allegedly denied it was about her or Combs. This denial, heard by a concerned mother, highlights the layers of secrecy and alleged control that Cassie might have felt, making it difficult to reveal the truth even to her own family. It raises a crucial question. How many red flags were subtly dismissed or hidden over the years, and what impact did that have on Cassie's alleged journey? The court also continued to hear from Sharay Hayes, the male escort who described his unsettling encounters with Cassie Ventura and Sean Diddy Combs. Hayes painted a picture of his very first meeting at the Trump International Hotel in New York City. He arrived to find Ventura wearing a robe and what he believed was a wig, inviting him into the suite. She quickly laid out the rules of engagement. He wasn't there to dance. Instead, her and her husband, referring to Diddy, liked to create a sexy scene involving baby oil. The instructions were strikingly specific. Hayes was told to not acknowledge her husband, try not to look at him, no communication or anything. After these unsettling guidelines, Ventura handed him a stack of cash. He counted $800 and he changed into a towel. This highly controlled environment, even before Diddy's appearance, set a strange tone for the encounters. As the encounters progressed, Hayes followed Ventura's lead, mimicking her actions, including applying baby oil to himself when she did. Then the man would enter the room, Diddy. Hayes testified that Combs would sit at a distance, giving subtle directions to Ventura. These weren't suggestions, they were adjustments he wanted to the lighting, to how her body was positioned, and sometimes even to the sexual activity itself. This alleged orchestration from a distance highlights a disturbing level of control within these intimate scenarios. Interestingly, Hayes didn't immediately recognize Diddy. It was only during a later encounter at another hotel that the famous name appeared on the TV screen. The Essex House would like to welcome Mr. Sean Combs. As a fan who already followed Combs on social media, Hayes quickly pieced it together. He then recognized Ventura from photos of the couple. This detail underscores how private and concealed these alleged interactions were, even from the individuals involved. Hayes testified that he joined the couple for similar interactions approximately 8 to 12 times in total. These weren't regular appointments. They were often months apart, sometimes on consecutive days. The timings were bizarre too, frequently meeting at 2:30 a.m. and not leaving until after 11 a.m. Ventura would typically message him just a few hours in advance. This pattern paints a picture of spontaneous, late-night demands that fit into a powerful figure's schedule rather than a conventional arrangement. After the initial few sessions, Hayes said he understood his role was to create a sexy scene that could escalate to a more sexual scene. Combs was consistently present, always giving directions from a distance about angles, lighting, and specific sexual activities. These encounters typically lasted about 4 hours. Hayes recounted a particularly startling incident when, during sex with Ventura, Combs allegedly threw cash down on the bed. The suddenness of it shocked Hayes, prompting Ventura to ask Combs if he was okay. Combs simply replied he was fine, and Hayes was later paid with that cash. This act, throwing money onto the bed during such a private moment, is highly controversial and suggests a disturbing dynamic of power and objectification. What does that action truly say about the alleged nature of these encounters? When asked if Cassie Ventura appeared to be enjoying herself, Hayes's response was carefully worded. "My understanding was we were creating a scene, a sexy scene. That was enjoyable to her partner." He observed her looking in Combs' direction often and noticed sometimes a sigh, a wince, that seemed to be frustration at the frequency of Combs' directions. Crucially, Hayes testified he never heard Ventura refuse one of Combs's directions. This lack of refusal, combined with the subtle signs of discomfort, speaks volumes about the alleged power imbalance at play, leaving viewers to ponder if it was compliance or fear. Hayes also spoke of the immense pressure he felt during these sexual scenarios with a woman's partner present. He admitted to trying medications to help his performance, stating, "It was a lot of pressure." He clarified that he never used drugs with Combs or Ventura and never saw Combs take drugs or appear intoxicated. His last session with them was in 2016, and he testified he failed to perform and was never called back. Before he left that final time, Ventura paid him and thanked him for being private and respecting their privacy in terms of our interactions. This final thanks in context adds a chilling layer to the alleged need for absolute discretion surrounding these encounters. Following the prosecution's questioning, defense attorney Xavier Donaldson began his cross-examination of Sharay Hayes. Donaldson immediately tried to establish Hayes's background, confirming he started his career as an exotic dancer in 1995 and is now a partner at Huncomania, an exotic dancer company. This line of questioning aims to frame Hayes's testimony through the lens of his profession. Donaldson then attempted to suggest Hayes had developed feelings for Ventura, referencing earlier documents where Hayes allegedly told prosecutors he began to develop feelings for Ventura. Hayes, however, denied this, stating that may have been taken out of context because that's not the case. He emphasized that he never considered himself a personal friend to Ventura and that their interactions were strictly professional with no personal banter. This is a classic defense tactic to discredit a witness by suggesting personal bias. The defense further pressed Hayes on Ventura's comfort level. When asked if Ventura ever appeared uncomfortable, Hayes responded, "I did not get any cues that there was a discomfort with what was going on." He explained that, as an experienced exotic dancer, he always reads a room to ensure his clients are comfortable. This statement, while from Hayes's perspective, directly contrasts with the prosecution's implications of coercion. Hayes also testified that during his encounters with Combs and Ventura, he never observed any filming or any violence. He confirmed that marijuana was the only drug he saw and that Ventura never appeared to be under the influence of drugs. These points are critical for the defense as they directly challenge key aspects of the sex trafficking and racketeering charges being brought against Combs, which often involve allegations of filming and forced drug use. Defense attorney Xavier Donaldson concluded his cross-examination of Sharay Hayes. Now, Assistant U.S. Attorney Meredith Foster is back for redirect questioning, where she'll have the chance to clarify any points raised by the defense and reinforce Hayes's original testimony. The testimonies of Regina Ventura and Sharay Hayes have brought highly personal and often disturbing details to the forefront of the Sean Diddy Combs trial. As the legal battle unfolds, these witness accounts are crucial in shaping the narrative for the jury. What do you make of the contrasting accounts and the defense's efforts to challenge the witnesses? Do you believe Regina Ventura's emotional testimony and the disturbing details from Sharay Hayes are enough to convince the jury? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments section below. We want to hear your perspective. For continuous, in-depth coverage of every twist and turn in the Sean Diddy Combs trial and all the breaking celebrity news you need to know, make sure you're subscribed to C Trends. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single crucial update. And to catch up on all the testimonies from other key witnesses like David James, Dawn Richard, and Cassie Ventura herself, be sure to check out our dedicated playlist on the Diddy trial. You'll find it linked right here on your screen, or simply search for C Trends Diddy Trial on YouTube. Thank you for joining us on C Trends. We'll be back soon with more critical updates from this landmark case.